All right, and welcome back to Splinterlands. This is Agrod. I like to go do a little show here, or a little recording I like to call the State of Splinterlands. And as per usual, the State of Splinterlands is kind of killing it. So let's go through a couple different announcements to go start. We have the very first one here is the Splinterlands proudly announces a partnership with Blockchain Founders Fund. So, Blockchain Founders Fund, it's headed up by two gentlemen, Ali and Mansour, and these guys have a strong background in they have done some fundraising in the past, but we're not actually working with them at this point for fundraising. What we're actually looking for them to do is help us growth hack. Um, they have a nice network that transcends not only blockchain applications and companies, but they also know a bunch of people in traditional media as well. Not just traditional media, but sort of traditional companies. Um, so they know they've worked with the United Nations. Many of you guys might have heard of them. And INSEAD in Seed. I actually don't know that company or that group, but I've certainly heard of the United Nations before. Anyways, so we're going to work with them to help grow our ecosystem, and we're excited for. We'll do that between sort of making partnerships, finding some sponsors, and some real data analysis. Um, it's not just those two guys; they come with a team of 16 people, and I'm excited to see how they're going to help us grow. So that's one major announcement. We added some new rewards cards. So I don't know if you guys saw this. Let me go pull it up. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Let's go pull up, where did I put it? I just had it here a second ago. Oh, this one. Okay, so, charts, cards. I want cards. So with the cards here, what we have is, let's go to, it looks like it's printed already. But yeah, we just had a whole bunch of the cards hit their 100% print. So no more Sacred Unicorn, no more Daria, no more Flame Imp, no more Vampire, no more Mushroom Seer, Divine Sorceress. And some of these have been out for a little while. But like as I've said, these they're out. There's no more. So if you got them, great. If not, then that was your only opportunity. But because so many of them went out of print, we needed to go get some more. So these are the rewards cards that we have gone and added. Gremlin Blaster, pay some attention to him. He'll be a note later. Gelatinous Cube. I'm really excited about the Gelatinous Cube. Sometimes you just need a big squishy tank. He kind of reminds me of the Flesh Golem. But he's got no attack, right? So that's the downside. The good side is that he just keeps growing. So he's got this heal, he's got this void. I think he'll be a great tank. We'll see how it goes. But I thought that was a hilarious card. Spirit Shaman, we got this redemption ability. Redemption is a little bit, I don't know if it's contentious or just it's hot. It is the hot thing right now. So it can take a hit. It will stun your opponent. That's a nice ability on a 4 mana card cost. And it's got redemption up at the upper levels. So watch out for the Spirit Shaman. Screeching Vulture. So, we've been doing this Scavenger and Opportunity combo for a little bit. We got a couple cards in a couple different decks, so we'll see how this kind of plays out over time. But it's fun to watch some of these cards just keep growing. And the opportunity, it can be a powerful thing. It kind of depends. Maybe you just end up landing on taunt all the time, so it's not a big deal. But attacking the most vulnerable should be fun. I had a nice time designing this card, the Silver Shield Assassin, the double strike. So you get it's like your standard sneak attack, but now you're getting two attacks out of the same monster in the same round. Oh, and by the way, some poison. Man, this card could be devastating. It's a little bit pricey, but in the upper level mana matches, it might be just the thing to go wipe out your opponent. Oh, and look at this. It's a little baby unicorn. Oh, he's so adorable. She's so adorable. Look at that unicorn. Strengthen. Strengthen's a pretty nice ability. Everybody's going to get 1 health. Swiftness. All your dudes are going to go faster. And then I forget what this is called. Divine Shield, maybe. But you get the shield so that all your the first hit is negated. So it's kind of tanky, kind of like a speedy tank. A little bit support, a little bit tank. Tough to know, but I don't know. It's a neat little card. Octopider. So the Octopider here, we got the Demoralize. It's going to reduce melee attack. We have the Blindness that reduces your chance to hit with both melee and your ranged. I think the thing that people are going to be excited about with this one is that the Octopider's the big guns. So you need a card that's going to go douse your opponent in some big, heavy ranged fire damage. There you go. There's the range. It's 5 attack. So, he'll be out there. This Octopider will be out there, sort of protecting your dudes, doing the debuff thing, and also nuking some opponents for some big hits. Ettin Spearman, I'm a little nervous that the Ettin Spearman's not going to get a whole bunch of love or attention here. It is another big nuker. Piercing's a nice ability. The stun sometimes, or like knockout, you got to set up knockout. That could be a 10 attack. So if it's stunned, then maybe that is the killer card. I don't know. We'll see how this thing fits in the meta. But here's our Ettin. Zalran Efreet. Here's another one. The Life Leech. So, now we have kind of 2 abilities that are going to help monsters kind of gain health over time. The Life Leech, so every point of damage that it does, it's absorbing or it's growing its health. You got the Cleanse, so the Cleanse is going to go keep the debuffs off of it. Headwinds is going to go reduce the incoming ranged attack, and Strengthen. Not a whole lot of health cards for the red team. So this is a nice, it's kind of a funky assortment. We'll see. It seems like the market has responded fairly well to this, and we'll see how that goes. Serpentine Mystic. So this is a dragon card. And it's rare, and it's not some giant dragon. This is really one of your first choices where this card is now coming into play, but the dragons aren't just going to be 7, 8, 9 mana cards. We're getting a little bit more range put in here. So the Serpentine Mystic, 2 magic attack. You'll get your Affliction, so it can't heal, and you'll get slow. Sort of like a neat little, it's a smallish side support. Fire Spitter, I think people are going to be excited for this one too. The card is similar to the Cockatrice, but now it's ranged. It's a little bit slower, but it's also got Redemption. So we'll see how this kind of fits into the meta and fits into the Dragon team. But that should be a fun card to go kind of pop out here. It's an epic. That's a pretty good one. Kraken, I'm so excited about. The big giant taunt. You can just imagine the Kraken gets your ship, so now you're taunted. You're like, okay, well maybe I could attack that little dwarf or pixie, but I think we're gonna try to kill the Kraken right now. You have Demoralize, which I'd imagine if you were trying to fight this thing, the first thing you'd feel is a little bit of fear and maybe oh, I think we're kind of doomed. But maybe when your friends actually hits it, so it gets enraged, now you're like, oh crap, and then finally it gets Retaliate. And so this big giant honking monster that everybody's attacking, it's getting the Retaliate. I'm really excited about the Kraken, especially in the uncapped games. This thing should just be a beast. So we'll see how that goes over with the crowd. So those are some of the new cards. Another big piece of news is that we're actually going to be on national broadcast TV. We're going on the AMC, American Movie Channel, and we're going to be on there. So AMC broadcasts to 95 million households in over 200 markets, and we're going to get this 90-second clip. It's going to be in 1080p broadcast, and we'll get on TV. So the show is it's got a couple hosts. It's got the guy and a gal, and they kind of do a little bit of witty banter, and then they're like, "Hey, what are you doing for this holiday season?" "I don't know. I've been trying to rack my brain for ideas." "Well, I've got something for you. Let's go check out this." So it's kind of a way to go showcase apps and dApps and all these kind of like um, I don't know, any kind of new gadget or gizmo. So we're gonna be on there, and there's also like some social media campaign stuff that they'll do on top of the broadcast. But I'm sure that by when you first see the broadcast, I'm sure you'll all be excited. In 2 years, when we're still pumping it out there, you'll be a little less excited. But it should be a really good recruiting tool for us, and I think it just gives us some legitimacy that um, you know I had somebody in my inbox being like, sometimes I tell people how many players Splinterlands have, and they don't believe me. They just have a hard time with it. And it's like, okay, you mean the show or the game that we saw on TV? Like maybe it'll be a little easier for people to figure out that this is like a legit, good, high quality game that's a lot of fun and players keep tapping into. All right, next up, so we got the second airdrop, a card update, and new rule sets. So development never stops here. I hope you guys are having fun with all the stuff that we keep putting out. So here's going to be the second untamed airdrop card. It's the Gloridax Guardian. Gloridax is the land of the dragons, if you don't know. Um, okay, so or I guess that's maybe the race, I should say, not really the land. The land is a different name, but that's the name of like the dragon people. All right, so the card features Reach. It's got Shield and Protect. So there's not a whole lot of beefy supports in the game. And this is starting to get into the realm of beefy support. The shield is pretty good. The protect, where you're giving 2 armor to all your teammates, is pretty good. And it's a big beefy melee dude, so it was either going to be a tank, which it's not quite tanky, but this is like a pretty solid off tank option. It's a little slow, he looks like he's a little slow, but hopefully that's okay. We had to almost immediately nerf the Gremlin Blaster. And I had a meme for this of like, what do we want? Um, Cards with redemption. What do we want? Get rid of redemption. Like it's been kind of fun to sort of watch what this is doing. Redemption is definitely like changing the meta some as people are trying to navigate around this card. Um, so that's cool to see, but this card in particular was not cool to see because in one of the tournaments, literally every single team out of like the last 8 rounds was using Gremlin Blaster in every single match. So like we want cards to be good and we want cards and skills and abilities to be fun, but that's broken. If like that's not a meta, that's just broken. So we nerfed it some. Now it has blast and it has stun. And I don't know if you know this, but there's not a lot of cards with stun on a 3 mana card. This is actually pretty rare. So, you can imagine that there's a fair number of tanks that you could actually just kind of keep crowd control with your little Gremlin Blaster. If you're, I'm imagining something like the Lord of Darkness, which is like this big beefy dude, and your Gremlin Blaster just stuns him. So it's kind of a low mana cost tank to go stun some of the bigger tanks out there. So we'll see how this fits in. It's low health though, so it might just get smashed in a bunch of games. But we'll see if people are using stun to go counter big tanks. I got a couple new rule sets coming. Yeah, like I know that this is getting long, but man, it's just there's a lot of stuff that we keep doing, and so there's lost magic. So magic attack may not be used. Close range, where ranged attacks can be used in first position battles. I like this. This is a fun rule set to me. Even Stevens, only monsters with even mana cost may be used in battle, and then odd ones out, only monsters with odd mana cost may be used in battle. So you're gonna get some chances to sort of like refine your deck under all these different conditions, and should be neat to see how that all plays out. So those are the announcements. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. Lots of stuff going on, and we still have some big ones in the tank. So we're not ready to discuss everything, but at the very least, mobile app development keeps coming, and it's strong. All All right, so here's the Splinterland stats that I wanted to show. So a while back, one of the bot farms kind of turned off, and I don't know if this is like bot farm coming back on, but this is one of the days of the highest player activity that we've seen in a while. Um, and not only that, but the most number of players, and remember, there are bots that are out here, so not every single one of these is a player, but I see 3,390 accounts playing. And then there was an additional set of accounts transacting for a total of 4,049 accounts all on the same day. And that to me is spectacular. Remember, it's not like you can't just, I guess you sort of can just sign up with an email address these days, but you don't get rewards for doing that. So like every single one of these accounts, even if they're managed by, even if they're duplicates managed by the same player, we're still seeing a lot of transactions. We're still seeing a lot of activity happening, and this is an all-time high for us. And in blockchain, is this the thing to measure? Is that the only thing to measure? Probably not. But it's one of my favorite statistics, and I know that there's flaws, but it's one of my favorite statistics, and that's an all-time high. And it's really like a new tier, right? We've been underneath 4,000 this entire time, 4,000 active accounts in the same day. That to me is a big deal. So when I say State of the Splinterlands is strong, I like the number one thing in my head is, holy crap, that's a lot of accounts. That's pretty exciting. Um, so what do I got next? Let's go down pack sales have done pretty well. This is since November. So once the stuff has come out, a lot of this is like redeemed from the Kickstarter. So that's not quite a good estimate, but we're seeing pack sales, a couple weeks after, we're seeing pack sales of, anywhere from 2,000, 4,000. That was probably our worst day at 1,000. But yeah, we're actually seeing pack sales that are in the like 5,000s. So in some ways, this thing is looking more like, the end of beta in terms of just like how quickly packs are flying through the shelf or off the shelves. Actually, I should show for the shop. Yep, we are past the third airdrop, so that just closed. But that also means that look, we're a month into this, and 20% of these packs are gone. So I don't know how long they're going to last. Maybe they keep up at this pace. We sort of planned this for 1 year. We hope that the packs will last for 1 year. But honestly, if any of like the big procedures, partnerships, goals, just our marketing efforts, if any of these things actually catch fire, like this is going to be gone overnight. Like it's $2 million, and $2 million is like a lot of money if you're a person and you're working, but $2 million for a company, especially in this space, it's still kind of peanuts. Like if you look at like Hearthstone, Magic, those kinds of games are like billion-dollar markets. So this is still kind of small potatoes land. So I don't know. I honestly don't have any kind of prediction yet for where that will land. I mean, the mobile app is coming out in the next 2 to 4 weeks. Like maybe the mobile app's a dud and everybody hates it. Maybe the mobile app is amazing and we're like sold out of that nearly instantaneously. Um, it's tough to tell, but I do know that after 1 month of release, we are down 20%. So the players are aggressively buying these packs, and I'm looking forward to the growth that we can do because of it. All right, so one of the other stats that I really like to focus on, or I think of as being really important, is the market volume. So let's go, whoops, didn't mean to do that, but let's go look at the market volume. So the market volume today is 8,326 sales for $4,666. I've seen this over 12,000 sales for just 1 day, and that was pretty exciting. You can see that all of these untamed cards are actually holding up pretty darn well. So like if we go look at betas and we put the betas in there, some of these legendary summoners are higher, and there's one legendary monster that's higher than some of these other ones, but otherwise, like there's a handful of the beta legendaries that are doing pretty well, and otherwise the beta legendaries, here's $2, here's $5. Where's my next beta? Here's 750. So there's a range, but man, these Untamed are holding up pretty darn well. 1030 for Kron. You got Dragon Jumper. He actually sold out at one point on the market. So Cornelius, $8. He's that card's been fluctuating a little. I think this is coming down a bit, and the Diamond Dragon's coming down a bit. But honestly, all these things are holding up really well. So I'm happy to see that with the market. And the players are trading these cards. There's no other way to say this. So we're halfway through the month, or just a little bit over halfway, and we're about to meet our all-time high for market sales in terms of Steam. Now you could say, well, Steam's really low, so you would expect a lot to be traded. But then again, when Steam is low, you would say, I'm not spending my Steam on this. So to see this much activity in Steam, I think the low price and the low price kind of cancel out. And I really just think this is reflective of there's a lot of trading happening. And that's how this is going. And it does, the SBD is down. There's not a lot of SBD trading. I don't know how the dark energy crystals are doing with this too. But, man, there's a lot of activity. This is one of the metrics I can see. And we're halfway through the month and we're at an all-time high. So that's a lot of activity. Again, when I think of the state of the Splinterlands is strong, I'm looking at this and thinking holy crap, you guys are buying and selling a lot of cards. Okay, so then we get into market cap. Now, this is a tool that's in Discord, and I've been tracking this number for a long time. And right now, we're not quite at the all-time high, but it's pretty darn close. We're sitting at 4.66 million by this count. And here is when we released Dark Energy Crystals, and here's that Kickstarter campaign and the end of beta, and then the Kickstarter actually kicked into gear, and people were selling a lot of beta to get into the new card packs, and then here's just kind of how Untamed has altered this landscape. So that's what we've been seeing, but that is not the only way to see it anymore. So Peak Monsters, our friends Jarvie and Asgarth, have gone ahead and built their own kind of market calculation. So when you click on market, and if you don't have any of the filters clicked, you can see they put the total value. This is from using the best list price at 5.361 million, or maybe 5.4 million. If you're using bid prices, it's quite a bit lower because there's not really a fully healthy bid market here. But that's 3.6 or 3.7 million. And if you're using market prices, you see 4.7 million or so. And this is saying it's 4.66, and this is saying 4.679. So maybe you can think of the Discord one as being pretty close to the market price. But anyways, this will be another number that I start tracking. So that's all exciting. What else do I want to get into? They have some new features in here too that I haven't explored too much. But when I go through and I try to figure out how is this affecting my rentals? What is this doing to just to the sort of passive income? So right now my cards are at $24.58, and we can dive into rental contracts. And, literally all this stuff is still renting. Ooh, this is nice. Just got a Play-Doh to start going. That's pretty cool. That's one of the more expensive cards at 20 cents per day. This stuff, especially with low Steam, I just spent a lot of this, but, I'm making close to what I make as a witness just renting cards individually. And my whole deck isn't rented. You can see listed for rent and rented. It's only half. So I have a whole bunch of that. Those that aren't rented are part of the Herons teams that I lease out to players. So there's income for that too, and I'm thrilled, man. How's my overall collection? So my overall collection's not at its all-time high. The all-time high was probably 127 or 128 here. But But 124 is still pretty darn good. I've bought some packs on this thing and I've put some monsters into it. So it's not the absolute highest it's been, but I think there was a temporary dip while players were selling some excess beta to go get into Untamed. And I don't think that'll last forever. I think, especially if we get more and more players into this game, those beta cards are, they're going to go and people are going to want them. And the alpha cards too. I mean, I honestly think that the alpha cards being the most rarest and the original cards of this game, at the end of the day, when we're looking at, what series has some of the best valuations or whatever, like I'm personally watching the alpha and I'm excited for that. Okay. So market is strong. The season finished. Events. So we're almost past that $80,000 mark. Right now, there's something like $2,200 worth of tournaments every week. And I'm hoping for some tweaks to the tournament settings. I'd like to start doing some. I'd like to start doing some tournaments that are untamed only. But all eyes and all effort is still on the mobile app, so that's got a little bit to go. So that is my update. Literally every single category that I'm looking at, except maybe alpha or beta prices, those are down just a little bit following the Untamed release. And again, like if I'm still saying that 4 to 6 months from now, then maybe I'd be a little annoyed. But I'm not surprised. I'm not bothered, and I'm not selling, so I'm not really worried about that in the short term here. So. With that one small exception, I would say basically all my other metrics are off the freaking charts, and I'm really excited. And I don't know, I'm glad you guys are playing the game. I hope you're having fun. I hope you like the new rewards cards. It seems like everybody digs Untamed, and I think these announcements are going well, and I'm looking forward to more. So thanks for playing, thanks for checking this out, and I'll see you in the Splinterlands.